Everyone's not relocating for the same reason. Some people are relocating because they're looking for, a better life, a better quality of life. Then there's other people that relocate because they were released from prison. And they can, avoid all of the other stuff that comes, not necessarily saying they're on the run or anything like that, but it's harder for people to find employment in the US if you have a record. So some people, and listen, I've met some, have relocated because uh, they just didn't feel like they had a chance staying in the US. So be careful, because people are going to people, and if they have had any type of trauma that they may have had traumas that they had in the US that they never dealt with. Yeah, people are going to people, scammers are going to scam. So there's ex-cons, there's people who are in abusive relationships, there's people that are, relocating because of homelessness. There's a whole list of reasons why people are moving abroad. There are people that were simply ready to leave because of emotional or financial challenges. And, you know, whatever you don't deal with will ultimately deal with you. It doesn't matter if you go over the border, if you get on a plane, whatever. So you just have to be cautious when you're meeting people, because everyone is not who they say they are. Just to say that again, everyone is not who they say they are. Even before you get on the ground there, if you start joining these social media groups, these communities, just be cautious of the information that you share, the information that you provide about yourself. You just don't know who's who. And if you saw some of my other videos, like, the hackers are going to hack. Hackers may pose, somebody may be posing to be somebody who's looking to relocate on these platforms only to get your information. So just be cautious. And there also are people that go abroad completely in addictions, whatever those addictions are. I'm not going to call any specific ones out, but there are closeted addicts that you may never know are addicts until you hear a little birdie, or you see something, to see your somebody sitting too close to your purse or anything, or something like that. So just know, this is not really to speak down on people, but it's really just to let anyone who's planning to do research about moving abroad, knowing that these things exist. It's not, I see too many happy go lucky people who are just willing to open their homes to people. Oh, you're moving to Portugal. Oh, come stay with me. Never having met them before. And then the horror stories start. The horror stories. And I've heard horror stories. So just be careful when you are fostering new relationships, and ask the right questions, pay attention to your intuition, all that good stuff. And know also that everyone is not where you are, and vice versa. And with that, there's also jealousy. There are people that may be jealous of your family life. There may be people who are jealous of your financials. There may be people who are just jealous of your aesthetics. And no, a lot of that travels too. It's not like these issues go away once people get on a plane and move abroad. So just be cautious. I've witnessed a lot of things, and as much as I love to talk about all of the positives about planning to move abroad and moving abroad, please be aware that there are some things you need to just keep your eyes open on, and be cautious about, be cautious with. Also, let's talk a little bit about the emotional struggles that happens when people move abroad. And some of those have to do with forging relationships with people, deep relationships, deep connections, only for those people to decide, oh, this wasn't for me. And they move away. They either move back to the US or another country. And I've seen that really affect people, especially in Mexico, which a lot of the places that I go are very transient. So, meaning people will come, they'll fall in love, fall in love with the city, they'll stay for 6 months, a year and a half, and then they're gone. And then the people that, that they've developed like the closest relationships with feel a sense of emptiness. But just know this can be a transient experience. People may feel, okay, I did this, this wasn't a great fit for me, or they may have obligations that bring them back to the US. Whatever the issues are, you just have to be okay with that some of these friendships may be fleeting, and it's fine. Like, reason, season, lifetime. Right? Some people come into your life for a reason, some people come into your life for a season, and some people for a lifetime, and you have to appreciate each and every one of those areas. But I've seen that really affect people, especially ones that like had roommates and became really close with people. It left them, in a dark place. So just know that that is a possibility. Before I move on, I always forget to do this. If any of this information is helpful to you, go ahead and like this video, please. Please like the video. It simply helps, you know, Mr. slash Miss YouTube send the video out to more people. And I mentioned earlier, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because we are going live a few more times with the rest of this series on, staying ready for this move abroad, or what may potentially be in our future here in the States. Next is, you know, I mentioned earlier, don't tell all your business, because a lot of times, if you don't know where a person is financially, or, you know, how stable they are, there can be some shaming that goes with that. So you may have more money than this person, or you may have less money than that person. Each scenario can cause someone to shame you, be jealous of you. That kind of goes with the jealousy, but the shaming is a real thing for people who have already we come from a place of lack in this country, and then to see, others either doing better, or others, not having to, you know, get a studio apartment. Maybe they can get a luxury apartment in a penthouse, and then that could cause some animosity. And so I just urge you to be cautious of the information that you share. You can just be like Switzerland, don't say much. They don't know if you got money, you don't have money. Just be cautious. And then you become prey. The more information that you share, people will start to prey on you. You can hear a whole lot of sad sob stories about what, check didn't arrive this month, or what money they don't have, because they know you have. So just like here, you don't want to share your financial status or information with random people, then don't do that when you go abroad with people that you don't know, other than the fact that you met them at a brunch or a lunch, or a WhatsApp group. So yeah, this is the next point that I think is real. It's becoming more and more prevalent and popular. Not everyone wants us in these countries. Like, when we come, the majority of people, are probably fine. And when I say countries, let's just talk about the most popular ones that we're moving to. But, gentrification is happening across the globe. And when I say they don't want us there, I'm not even talking about just us. I'm talking about all of us, like anyone who is displacing them, or making them feel like we're causing all the inflation. And there's some real protests happening across the globe about the influx of, I know Spain, it's definitely happening. I think I heard some parts of the UK. Yeah. And I know in Mexico, we hear about it, like, oh, we're displacing, the rents are going up so high that the natives, or the citizens, can't afford to rent. and things like that. We hear about it, but there haven't been any active protests that I'm aware of, but there are active protests. So just be cautious of that. So when you're planning your scouting or your visitation to this country, then just know and do your research and stay up to date. I spoke about this in another video. Make sure you're connected to the local news. Get that VPN so you can get the real news that's going on there. Again, there's a link for the VPN that I use, which is NordVPN, and you'll be able to place your IP address in that particular country and get the actual news that's being communicated there. So you want that information. Um, you also want to, excuse me, you also want to be cautious of um, trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. So what happens a lot of times is when we do these scouting trips, we don't scout as potential residents, we scout as tourists. We tend to go to the most pop-in restaurants or the all of the main attractions that the tourists go to, and all of this costs money. And you know, listen, I was guilty of it, especially when I went to Puerto Vallarta. I was everywhere, and it's not a cheap city. So I didn't really need to do that. I was there to experience Puerto Vallarta to see if it was someplace I could call home. So just like living in New York, I can't tell you the last time I went to the Statue of Liberty or to the Empire State Building. I recommend holding all that touristy stuff off until you get a sense of what it's really like to immerse yourself in that city and that culture. And so definitely keep a budget. I know budgets can be challenging, especially, you know, when you want to do different things, but you can get caught up real quick. Or just, you know, make it so like once a week we'll do a touristy thing. And if you're only there for a week, maybe it's only two tourist events. Like maybe we'll go see the pyramids, or maybe we'll go see this, and then try to find the free days that these things happen. Because a lot of times in these countries there are free days, like maybe it's a Sunday or whenever the touristy days are not as busy, right? So check into those, but definitely don't overspend your money trying to be a tourist when your objective is to be a resident, right? Or to, you know, live there indefinitely. So, and also this leads me into, we talked about the less popular days. Before you do any moving or any scouting, I should say, be sure to go into that country's holiday calendar and see where their holidays are and what is open and what is closed. I know way too many people that got caught up thinking they were going to fly in and fly out, get their residency done like towards the end of December, and the government was shut down for like 2 weeks at the end of December. Now I think they don't close as long as they used to, but it used to be like they were closed from like the 10th of December until after the new year. And if you didn't know that and you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna go, you know, finalize my residency during my Christmas break," you were just SOL. You just did not know. And then there's other holidays, like whenever there's an election, there are holidays where the government offices are closed. You need to know when those are. And then they have other culturally relevant holidays that we're not aware of. And this is across the globe. So just make sure you do your research before you plan any trip to said country of interest, if you're there to, you know, do any work or you have any business that you need to take care of. Then also, let me get to, oh yes. So don't overpack when you do finally set that trip, right? When you get that day to that, you know, those days together. And if you're going for a week, if you're going for 3 weeks, if you're going for 4 months, if you're going for a year, be conscious of, you know, whatever it is that you pack. 9 times out of 10, you're going to overpack. Now, I do highly recommend, if it comes to hair products, skincare products, any type of beauty products, um, or, soaps or anything, go ahead and bring those. But when it comes to like clothing and shoes and all of that, less is more. 9 times out of 10, you are not going to use half of any of that stuff that you brought with you. So, I heard about it in Spain and UK. Just saying, if you're still there, I missed that. I'm sorry because I'm reading my notes, so I couldn't see the comments. Yes, always be on your guard, but you don't have to be on your guard to the point where you can't have any enjoyment. But definitely, you want to not just fall for the okey doke. You definitely don't want to just fall for the okey doke. And so I just have two more things. I think it is. Yeah. So don't overpack. We talked about that. Definitely bring the beauty accessories that your budget allows. If you have any like medicines and stuff like that, definitely. But the clothes and accessories and all of that, yeah, you could leave that. You could leave most of that, at home. Even if you're, traveling for like 6 months, one suitcase would probably be fine in most places. Now, I'm not saying if it's a place that has multiple seasons, you got to pack a few coats and stuff like that. That's one thing. And I'm saying one suitcase per person. So definitely just be careful not to overpack. You don't even want to have to lug that stuff around. If you need to change locations, you don't have to worry about anyone thinking you have more than you know that you live in so large. Just pack less is more. And then only, let's say, two more things. Just be flexible, really. Just be flexible when you travel. Just know that a lot of these other countries are not like ours, in the sense that some of their infrastructure may not be as sophisticated, meaning power outages. Power outages just don't happen when there's a storm. And especially like in places like Mexico or South America, power outages could happen on a beautifully sunny day as you're walking down the street. And that includes internet as well. So you want to make sure that you're just flexible and go with the flow, and don't let it upset you to the point where you're angry and you know, it's messing up your whole vibe, or you're getting mad at people. These people that are natives to these countries, they deal with this on a regular. So please just know that whenever you travel abroad, not to be preachy, um, you may not have all of the same conveniences that you get here. And so just be flexible, and primarily so it doesn't kill your